Good morning. Last sales meeting of the year. Are we excited? We had a great turnout for the Christmas holiday party last Thursday. Was that last Thursday? Did you guys have fun? We enjoyed having you there. I thought it was a good venue. All right.
Oh my God.
We're going to start off with a quick video. We showed this sometime in 2017, or at least a version of it, but we're going to show this again. I think it's a very appropriate video, and I hope you enjoy it.
This is your first challenge. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to turn to someone sitting near you, next to you. Okay, look them in the eye, and this is what I want you to say. When I look at you, I see blank. Okay, 30 seconds, go. You're going to look at me and say, Mr. Flood, when I look at you, I see blank.
Okay.
Okay?
When I look at you, I see a smart man.
Now I go. Alexis, when I look at you, I see me. Where am I looking? I'm looking in their eyes, deeper than that. Where am I looking? Their brain and their heart, we're getting closer. Yes? Where? Their soul, we're getting really close now. Where's your soul? Inside. That is your first challenge for today. Stop looking at people on the outside and say this out loud. Look on the inside. And here's where you use this. It's really hard to look at someone who doesn't look like you and see yourself in them. My children don't look like me. They look like their mom. They look Asian. They look Filipino. They have black hair and brown eyes and Asian skin. They're tan, and they just don't look like me. My son Justin, he likes anime, and Justin likes wrestling, WWE. What you need to know about Justin, though, is that he has autism. And he's awesome. He's kind. He's compassionate, he's caring, but he doesn't understand where he fits in socially. He can't look people in the eye. He doesn't know how to interject himself into a conversation. He doesn't know where he fits in. When Justin was in middle school, he used to come home from school every day, and I would ask him, "Hey buddy, where'd you eat lunch today?" And he would say, "Daddy, I ate alone." Still does some days now in high school. Justin looks like all of you guys, and he is just like all of you guys. Not here. Here. And there's a difference, guys, between being alone and being lonely. No one here is alone. We're all in the physical proximity of people. But there are people sitting in here who are lonely. Lonely is a feeling. Lonely is toxic. Lonely is dangerous. It leads you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. A lot of times unhealthy things. About five years ago now, Justin learns how to skate, and 8 months goes by and he gets invited to play, he wants to play on a rec league team with typical kids, with regularly developing kids. And the last game of the season, we were losing. It was 8-3. It was about 3 minutes to go, and I'm in the bleachers. There was a face-off, and Kyle takes the puck, and he passes it to Justin, and Justin skates in, and he takes a soft shot, and it goes off the goalie's pad, and he gets the rebound, and he stuffs it in the goal. And the kids are going crazy. And needless to say, I'm crying. I'm like melting the ice with my tears. And so I went over to the opposing team's bench, and I reached out my hand to their coach, because I knew what he had done, and I said, "Thank you." And he looked right at me. He looked right at me, and he said, "Don't thank me. Thank the boys." And they were 10 and 11 years old, and all they did was let a kid score a goal. But here's the takeaway. They had no idea how they would affect that kid's father that day. They had no idea that that kid's father would go out and tell that story to over 100,000 kids. And I don't think you're too young to hear that message. And so I say that to you. Your life is not about you. Your life is not about you. Your life is about all the people around you. Your life is about all the people you can touch, all the people you can impact, all the people you can influence, all the people that you love, and all the people that love you. That's how you source your life. Live your life like that and watch your life change. It's amazing what happens.
life is not about you. I love that statement and that. And we played this video before. Did Brooke find it or Janet find it? Who found it?
Actually, Aaron Horn sent it to me.
Holy shit.
I know.
I didn't know he had a soul or a heart. Love you, Aaron. Your life's not about you. And I think we're in a business where we're helping people, many of them make the biggest purchase in their life. And when we have a mindset that we are serving others, that we are helping others, there's a fulfillment and a happiness that comes in our life that we don't otherwise get. And this all aspects of life, not just real estate. But I think as we're coming together here as two organizations, CBS Home joining our organization, and I know that's difficult for them because they've lost an identity that many of them had for many years. And I've heard that from many of them. I think the coolest thing out of this has been, I've received so many messages, I think it's cool, it's good and bad all at the same time, that have said, your organization, and what I thought, and even of me personally, is different. Completely different. The word I keep hearing is completely different than what I perceived. And so many times, perception becomes reality, and that's a struggle we're now trying to overcome, right? Because the perception that others have had of us is different than how we perceive ourselves. And so, I've asked myself the question, what was it, 2 months ago, Entrepreneur Magazine names us the #2 company in the United States for top company culture, which is incredible. And I said, if that survey took place today, would we even be on the list for being #2? And my gut is probably not, because we're trying to mesh two cultures together to become one culture. And so, the thing that keeps me up at night is, how do we have that great culture jointly? And it's a struggle. And I think we're getting there because we're having more and more people reach out saying, hey, I love it, thank you, I'm excited. But I also know we have people still struggling to come in this process. So we on our side want to welcome the CBS Home people with open arms. By the same sense, I want both of us on both sides to look, come on in, Ron. He's looking for a chair. There's one back there by the pizza. I love that statement. We need to look on the inside, right? Because when all of us look on the inside, we'll see a different perspective than we thought. And so my wish and hope is that everybody can look at everybody on the inside from a different perspective to give each other a chance. Because I know there's struggles that takes place. This is a huge, huge merger, and I hate the word merger. I don't really think it is a merger. I want to believe selfishly that those of you that have came over here chose to come over here because you believe at the end of the day it gives you the greatest opportunity to be in the correct environment, to grow your business, to take it where you want. So let's look on the inside. Let's see the good in each other. Let's be patient with each other. And at the end of the day, I can promise you, this is going to be something special. The thing Brian says to me, more often than he probably thinks, is that he was like, I love what we've been doing here the last 15 years. It's just hard for me to even believe I've been around Brian for 15 years. And I haven't had a heart attack. And that's how we've felt, right, Brian, for a long time. And I want us 15 years from now to feel that exact same way. I want everybody in this room to say, wow, we've been part of something that is really cool, that no one else is doing, that's helping me have more fulfillment and happiness in my life. And even more importantly, to say that I've helped many other people. The reason we have the Care Fund and all these type of things is because we want to be an organization that has a heart, that has a soul, that cares about other people, and can help those without those even knowing that we're going to help them, expecting that. And I've said this 100 times, the heart and soul of this organization is based on what we call as the attitude of abundance. The expectation we have of each and every one of you is that if somebody needs help and reaches out to you, that you're more than willing, no matter how busy you are, to make time to go sit down with them, to help them, whether it's in part of their personal life or their business life, to sit down and share with them whatever it is they're looking at. The attitude of abundance, again, is that when we openly share, when we say, here's what we're doing, here's how we're doing it, here's what happened right, here's what went wrong, when we're transparent, when we encourage each other, when we learn from the past, and we believe fundamentally in our hearts the best is yet ahead, everybody in the room wins. And those of you that have been in our mastermind groups for an extended period of time, I think really have found that. Now, we've had some struggles with some of our mastermind groups. Where's Heather? That we sometimes have to have some tough love, right? But at the end of the day, those who embrace it really, really grow from it. And they understand by sharing with others that they gain in that process. So that's enough of my preaching. I love the attendance here. We've got home standards here. That's got, what do we have back there?
Breakfast pizza.
Breakfast pizza.
Yes, thanks to Paul. And then nothing bunt cakes after.
Nothing buns cakes. I probably should pass on that after. So, guys, 2019 is going to be an incredible, incredible year. Maybe a tough year. Many of you have been pushing me, and luckily because we have Maggie. Maggie, do we have this? Sure. She gave me a thumbs up. See, that's good. So, where's it at?
I emailed it. I don't know if it's in there, but we'll send it out.
Okay. So many of you have been asking for what we call, I'm supposed to do every quarter. I do it about every year and a half if you're lucky, because I hate writing a state of the article. The reason I got out is because I didn't write it. Maggie wrote it. I just proofed it. Kind of talking, and it's a vehicle of what we want you guys to use. It's kind of saying, here's what's happened with things even outside of this. It talks about what's happening with unemployment, with consumer confidence, by the way, which is at an all-time high. It's like 138, the index, is that right? And just 2 or 3 years ago, it was like at 97. 100 is supposed to be normal. Consumer confidence is at all-time high. Unemployment, which is on there, is at an all-time low. It's I think 3.7%, and they started tracking that in 1968 or 69. So there's a lot of things that indicate the economy is very healthy. There's also things that indicate interest rates have went up 0.9% over the last 12 months, that there's the Fed and others are trying to cool off the economy, so there's some battling factors in there. So we're going to get the letter out to you. We want you to use that as a vehicle, one, to gather some information for your own knowledge, but I know many times you guys can take and tweak that letter and send that off to your sellers, because we're setting expectations in there that don't expect to sell your house in a day with 15 offers. So we want to help you set expectations with your clients in the marketplace as to the reality of what's going on in this marketplace. Ralph said, I think we need to quit saying it's a correction and we have to have a positive state of mind. And so I thought about that for a while. And I want us to understand there's opportunity, because I really believe there is opportunity. There's always a flock to quality in a tough market, right? And so I think there's a lot of opportunity right now, but as Les Brown always says, it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be prepared. I want to make sure that we're prepared if there is a turn in the market, which I tend to believe there is. And the more prepared you are, the more opportunity you will have in that process. And those who are part-time agents and discount brokers and for sale by owners will start to dissipate, and they will see their opportunities go away. So that is our primary goal as a leadership team within this organization, is to help you guys be prepared in that process. It's not to scare you. Now, if scaring you is the only way we're going to get you to act to be prepared, then maybe that's what we'll do. But we know that pushing the button on each one of you is a different button that we have to push to help you be where you need to go. Scott, I saw you back there somewhere. There you are. Can you come forward? We're going to, this legal plan, I never seen Brian so excited about anything in the last 15 years. Well, that's not exactly true. We are going to kick off this legal plan. We will offer it to all of our, and did we make up a little sheet on this we'll send out also? Yes. Oh, do we have it up there? Or you just have it in an email? So we'll send that out also, Brooke. All right. The legal plan, I'm going to let Scott kind of run through again what that covers. It's $9,500 each agent. We're going to have one hell of a year if we could get $9,500 each agent and just shut it down for the year. Lawyers need boats too. It's $95 per year. We're going to prorate that. CBS Home is on a August to July 31st schedule.
Yeah.
So we're going to prorate it to like $50-some.
53, I think.
53 from January 1st through July 31st, and then do an annual fee of $95 August of each year.
Right.
Just to get back on the same schedule so we have everyone. Can you walk through again what's included in that and then answer some questions on it?
The legal plan is, of course, designed to give you some sort of, protection in issues where if you were to get a complaint from the Real Estate Commission, it would be, a defense would be provided to you by a lawyer all the way up to a hearing if it went to that. Work on the settlement, whatever it takes to get rid of that situation, get you in a better position. It also provides, and this is probably about the best thing, which is anytime you get sued, there is a high likelihood, regardless of whether you're culpable or not culpable, that it's going to get settled. And if it's going to get settled, because about 95% of all lawsuits do get settled, they're going to come to you, looking for your deductible. And the legal plan for $95 basically gives you $2,500 in free money to be applied to that deductible, so you don't have to come out of pocket for it. It also provides, if you get into an arbitration dispute over a commission, it provides counsel for that as well. And just legally, it's to provide for the services of having. I'm a lawyer by trade. Have lawyers on staff.
Lawyers need to have jobs, so we're going to keep Scott on.
Thank God. So that's what it's there for, and for $95, it's a hell of a value. You were to go out and hire a private attorney to take you through a hearing that went all the way to the Real Estate Commission, it could be $15,000-$20,000 easy, because they bill out hourly, and if they're going to bill out $250 an hour, you take 10 hours of their time, which is going to take more to get through a hearing. You know where you're going to end up, so it's a hell of a good value for you.
So, questions about it?
Jan 1, it's going to start.
We were going to start at January 1st.
Yeah.
You want it now?
Everyone's going to be opted into it, and you have to opt out.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to audit. CBS Home is, tell me if I've got this correct, basically has 98% of the people wanted it.
It was very rare for anyone not to take it, just because it's...
So based on the experience of what we're hearing there, we're going to just have it, we'll have that on your January bill. If you want to opt out of that, there's no problem with that whatsoever, and then we'll note that. But we're just going to, based on the conversations we've had, we're going to automatically put everyone into it. It seems to be a pretty cheap safeguard to have free legal counsel on your real estate commission complaints, arbitrations, and so forth.
And so the process works is if you were to get a real estate commission complaint filed against you, it will go to Vince as the broker, but send it to me as well, because then I'll go place it to counsel to make sure that we don't get lost on that. Same thing with any kind of lawsuits. If you get sued, let us know. Now, if you get sued because you were looking at Vince's shirt and hit a wall, there's no legal protection plan for that. It has to be real estate related.
I won't sue you. The wall might. This is probably a good time to tell Scott that he's going to be the designated broker starting January 1st also. So it'll come to Scott, and then he'll talk to you.
That'll
Yes,
work,
Nancy.
too.
Why are you getting a packet? Yeah, Nancy.
How many a year?
Somebody said I didn't present the contract.
Right.
But you got dismissed.
I got dismissed. But when you get the packet, there's so much legal mumbo jumbo, I didn't even understand the question.
Right.
It cost me $3,000.
And that's exactly the whole purpose. Is the $95 seems real cheap compared to $3,000. But I think just as importantly to your point is you trying to sift through this to understand this and the confusion that goes along with that, helping you be at peace of mind that someone's there to guide you through that probably is just as important part of this as anything. Yes, yes.
Right. So this is how a real estate commission complaint reads. You violated 81885-201, 22, 29, 31, 12. Please respond. That's how they read. Because they have to find violations within the Code of Ethics, and it'll say Reg 225-20-12-4. I mean, that's how it is, and so that's we've got plenty of attorneys who do this all the time and know how to handle it, know how to get rid of them quickly. Because a lot of times, almost I'm going to say about 87% of the time, there's nothing there. The real problem that what we're seeing, which we don't like, is it generally used to be is that someone would file a real estate commission complaint. They filed against buyer's agent. They go investigate it, go, there's nothing there. But now what the Real Estate Commission does through its investigative powers is they review the entire transaction file. And so if they find something in the transaction file, even if the complaint wasn't filed against you, say as the seller's agent, but if they see something, then the Real Estate Commission files their own against you directly. And so they'll sometimes spin out 2-3 complaints out of one transaction.
Very common on agency when I sit on the commission.
Very common on agency, yeah.
The agency
And
wasn't
Vince knows
signed at
this
the right
well.
time. Yes, sir.
So I'm just curious, how does this differ than like E&O insurance attorneys or this attorney?
So this would be in addition to, so if you get sued and we have to claim it with errors and omissions, the errors and omissions company will ultimately, Brian's in this loop a lot more than I am, and Scott, they will assign an attorney to us to defend that, but there's still a $2,500 deductible. The $95 will cover that $2,500 deductible. But his point is, we would like, because if somebody sues you and we have to turn into errors and omissions, you have to report that to the Real Estate Commission. So more often than not, if this stuff starts heading down this path, we would like to head that off prior to. I think you just said 95% of the time these things get settled before they ever go to court. So, I mean, if you have that, you would have an additional attorney that the errors and omissions company is going to hire to protect them in that thing, because we only have limited liability in that.
And think about it, there's, you got to think about two kind of processes, right? You've got the civil process where someone's suing you for money. That is where E&O comes in. They appoint a counsel to defend you, and that's when your deductible would come into play to settle that case. The other point is the administrative process is when the Real Estate Commission files a complaint against you. E&O does not cover that. They only cover things that matter with monetary damages. So that's why this is different. It's it's additional coverage that you wouldn't otherwise have by being part of this legal plan. So you don't have to go hire your own attorney to take you through and defend a Real Estate Commission complaint. And just like health insurance, the more people that we get participating in it, then the easier it is for us to offer it. And so that's why we can do it for $95 for a whole lawsuit that might cost the company $2-3 grand to get through. That's why the benefit is there for everyone to be part of it.
If we're done with that, the next thing I want you to talk about real quick, we talked about this actually a couple of years ago. I called you, and you've done more research on this, the Military Advantage Program.
Yes.
Can you talk about the Military Advantage Program? Because I know that Brian and I have struggled with this over the years. You did, I think, a little bit more research on that. You guys have had a program. We want to continue the program that you have in this process. Can you walk through what needs to be done to make sure that that's being done correctly?
So who knows about USAA? Perfect. That's what I was hoping.
If Mark Shahan knows, everyone knows.
So USAA, of course, has a plan in place that provides a rebate to its members. It used to be a pretty solid program where it was, hey, if you served in the military, we would rebate you some of the commission back through USAA. Then they expanded it, and then they kept adding more and more people, and so now you're getting down to a third cousin's whose father-in-law might have fought in the Guadalcanal. It's gone way past where it normally was. And so CBS Home used to do a ton of USAA business, and then it was pulled from us and went to Better Homes and Gardens and Coldwell Banker because it's part of the same company, the same franchise system. And so since we had a lot of experience doing it, we decided we could just set up our own program, which you can do legally because it's okay to rebate commission, but you have to do it in a way. There's certain states that you can't offer a rebate in. And so we have a form. Put that down. We have a form, and we call ours the Military Advantage Program, MAP program. And we limit it because we feel like it should be really for people that we want to help out and provide a little benefit for, helping this country out, serving us, and protecting us. And so ours has always been related to military. It's also Omaha, so it's a good military town for it. But the way it works is that if someone has, was a vet, I'm trying to read what we limited it to, as an active duty member, reservist, National Guard member, or veteran of the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard. Not a lot of Coast Guard people around here, but that they would be eligible for a rebate. We also have a plan in place as to what that rebate is based off the purchase price. And we'd want them to register and fill out this form so you were aware that they're asking for it. You have to let accounting know that you have this form so they're aware of it too, because what it does is it rebates commission from you to this veteran at closing if you want to use the program. And so there's a schedule in here as to what the cost is. And the rules and regulations are, it's not available in a short sale. It's not available in certain states. It has to be approved by the lender, the purchaser lender, and rebate must be approved by your lender's underwriter and must be disclosed to the seller. That's for it to be legally done. Otherwise, it could be mortgage fraud,
right?
Which is what Vince and I talked about a couple of years ago, which his concern was.
That was our whole concern. Is there's two things. One is the laws in Nebraska gives us the ability through agency to rebate up to our commission back to a client, and we can do that for any client. But the second issue that we talked about a couple years ago, that was my concern, is that you have a lender fraud issue. You can't give money back to a client and not disclose that to the lender.
Right.
But I think your answer back then, I'm going a couple years ago, was that you did some research, and actually the government actually is encouraging us to come up with programs to help veterans and people that serve.
Something came out from the Department of Commerce a couple of years ago where they were asked these questions about rebates, and they said that they wanted to create or encourage rebate systems in place. So it's not a federal violation of a RESPA issue or something like that, truth in lending, but it is important, of course, to let the lender know that this is going to happen, so you are fully disclosing the fact that a benefit is being provided. So that's what's important to catch on or know about.
To that point, if you've got a lender that you tell something about someone that's not a veteran and they say don't put that in the purchase agreement, that's probably the first clue that it's lender fraud, right? If they don't want to see it, that's probably some sort of that's case where that they're not going to get the loan if that's on there, or it's going to affect the loan, and so you need to be aware of that just as much.
Right. That's one of the biggest concerns you can see out there, and say, hey, we can do this on the side, or we don't want to tell somebody about it. Yes, I get it. It might put the deal together, but depending on what could happen is someone comes in and audits that file, they see that happened. Trust me, the real estate commission is more than willing to move it on to the Department of Banking, who might move it on to the federal government for investigation of mortgage fraud. So it might sound like a good idea, and you might think that no one's going to catch on to it, but remember, if they can figure it out within your file, even if the lender didn't see it, it could go on up. And any kind of violation of federal banking regulations is also a violation of state real estate commission rules and regs too. So they can get you any way they want.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Exclusive buyer's agency, I wanted to talk about that real quick. I want to make sure that you understand, how many in this room use exclusive buyer's agency? Not enough. And for years we've struggled on it. And the primary reason, I think, is because you guys are just not comfortable getting the buyer to sign that agreement up front. It's how we're communicating that message. Nancy, you use it all the time, right? If an exclusive buyer's agency agreement is the equivalent of a listing agreement. And so if you start working with a buyer and they have an exclusive buyer's agency agreement, you cannot continue to work with that buyer. It's no different than if a seller, you can't contact a seller, it's called going behind a sign right, if they have a listing agreement. That same rule has to apply to exclusive buyer's agency agreements. Now, the truth is, by the show of the hands in this room, which is probably an indication of the entire marketplace, maybe 3% of the people use exclusive buyer's agency agreements. You're not going to run into it often. But you do need to be asking buyers when you meet with them initially, have you signed an exclusive buyer's agency agreement with anybody else? Now, many times they're confused and they're like, oh, I've signed an agency agreement with someone else if they work with someone else. And an agency agreement in and of itself, that can be signed by 10 different agents, and there's nothing exclusive about that. So if they said they've signed something to someone else, then you need to take that, you need to clarify, is that an agency agreement, which is required by the state, or is that an exclusive buyer's agency agreement, which is a legally binding contract that commits them to that person for an extended period of time. So questions on that? We run into that periodically. I just want to make sure that we're staying out of trouble and that we're not going out there. Yes, add to that.
It has to have a start date and an end date.
In the listings, every agreement has to have an expiration date, or it's not a legally binding agreement, period, right? It doesn't matter if it's a listing agreement, if it's a buyer's exclusive, or anything else. So you don't have a valid agreement if you don't have that. Anything else on that? Questions on that, guys? Yes, sir.
How enforceable is that exclusive buyer?
It's as enforceable as, this comes back to, and we're not going to probably, does the legal plan defend exclusive buyer's agency agreements?
Probably not.
Okay. I was hoping that was the answer. Here's the truth, is we've had some, it's defendable as you determine how far you want to take it in a court of law. But if you were to go sue them, I think the buyer, without a question of a doubt, would lose the lawsuit if you've got a legally binding agreement. The question is, how much time, energy, and effort and money are you going to spend with attorneys to fight that? Now, what we've done in the past, when they went to Celebrity, and we got in a big, what was that, Brian, 3 years ago maybe, we got in a pretty big debate with Celebrity, because we had somebody that had an exclusive buyer's agency agreement, went and purchased a Celebrity home, and I told Celebrity, I said, well, you've basically violated commission law on this. And so, they said, I don't know if they have or not, they claimed at that point in time they were going to change, and they were going to start asking an additional question about, have you signed an exclusive agency agreement with anybody else? In that case, we pressed the issue, told them we were going to sue for that, and the buyer ended up paying half of the thing, or Celebrity gave them some money back. I don't remember what the situation was. But it's enforceable. But the point is, are you going to go spend $10,000 in attorney fees a year and a half of your life to do it? But it gives you some teeth that you do not have otherwise. And I think as much as anything, it's that mental obligation on their part to think that they're committed to you in that process. Anything else on that, guys? Errors and omissions. We've had lots of confusion on errors and omissions. Someone has said, why does your program run from February 1st through February 1st? I have no clue, because that's how we started it 20-some years ago. But everybody that comes over here, Connie immediately, Carrie, I'm looking at you on this, Connie immediately sends in with their license and their transfer a copy of our errors and omissions policy, so everybody gets put on it. So those of you that had the state plan, because the state plan is what you have, Scott, right, at CBS Home, will automatically be added to our plan if anything occurred in the time frame from when you started here till the end of the year. And we're not charging you errors and omissions. We're not double charging you. You paid for that back a year ago. Starting January, we'll start paying that for you. But ours just renews. Again, ours has a $1 million occurrence on it. The state's plan has a $100,000 occurrence on it. Ours has an environmental rider. The state plan does not have. Mold is our big concern always on that. But the biggest part of this, again, that I don't want you to forget is ours has cyber fraud coverage. As long as you're using the BHHS AMB email address. So if you're using, and again, if you're forwarding in or out, you have another email address that you're using for your team or yourself. If that's getting forwarded in and out of that breaches that agreement. You have to be using the BHHS AMB email address for business. And if you are, you've got cyber fraud coverage. And that is the most important part of this. And I'm always worried every year, the last couple of years, when we renew our insurance policy, because that premium is skyrocketing. It's the #1 crime in the world by far. So those are the big reasons. Don't worry, by February 1st, we will have another insurance policy in place, sent down to the Real Estate Commission, and we take care of that. That's seamless to you. You guys don't have to do anything in that process. We have an environmental rider. The question was, what is the mold that I mentioned? We have an environmental rider on our policy, so $1 million occurrence, environmental rider, and that is basically if somebody sues over mold, if a seller didn't disclose, here's just the way it works. If a buyer sues somebody or seller sues somebody, they sue everybody, including us as agents. And we've had cases where they sue the seller, but they sue the agent, because if the seller knew there was mold, the agent had to know there was mold. And those are just never cheap lawsuits. So we have an environmental rider on ours that is excluded from the regular errors and omissions policy. And also the regular errors and omissions policy does not have cyber fraud, which I think is a surprise to most people. And according to the laws that are out there, that if your email has been hacked into, okay, and Maggie, we probably need to get back on making sure that everyone's got this dual, whatever it's called. Multi-factor, thank you. Which I have. So that lawsuit, that's just something that was exempt from the state's plan. But the big thing that I guarantee you, how many people at CBS Home knew that if you had a cyber fraud, if someone hacked in your email and someone sent $120,000, you would have liability in that, and that's not covered part of your errors and omissions policy. See, I told Greg Lemon, I says, that's crazy. I guarantee you the majority of people think they have coverage on that, and they don't. So
for right now, we're still doing CBS Home. Are we covered under that?
That is, we think so, because it's all, we think if the question was, we're getting CBS Home emails which are being forwarded to us, it's all on the same server, under the same, It's like we changed our name. So we think that is, we probably need to call and verify that.
Under the impression it was the domain that's covered, but we might need to just add.
We maybe need to have a call with our insurance. Get Maggie involved in that conversation. We'll make sure that you're covered. If not, we'll put you under Scott's legal plan. Yes.
That's not $300.
If we have the two-factor authentication on our CVS home accounts, is it automatically on our BHHS accounts?
Yes. You just stay in sight, Maggie. If I have any more questions, I need to head. Yes. All right. The other thing that I know that we're getting, oh my God, and our agents, CVS agents, because I can't take any more text messages on this. By spring, where's Kyle? Kyle, Carrie, Liz, by spring, that's our goal. Don't hold us to this. I'm giving you a broad range here. We're going to have direct deposits, okay? Can someone clap? Because I'm so tired. I'm exhausted on getting questions about direct deposits. I mean, people crying, you think their mom died. I'm like, oh my God. So we will have that. Give us 4 or 5 months to get that. But that's one last thing we're gonna try to change here. And we're going to get a new, for everybody involved, we're going to get, Carrie, I don't know if we have this yet. We talked about this on Friday. A new roster that will have all employees, all combined employees, and their duties and responsibilities, so everyone can have a better idea of where to go if you need to input a listing, or if you need to get a check, or if you need graphic design or something like that. The graphic designers moving in this week will be moving in to the 3rd floor space that just got finished. Those of you who don't know, IT has moved up to the 3rd floor. I'm pointing this way. So the new space is going to be graphic designers over here that we just finished this spring. The IT people, and we're going to be moving the trucking company over to that space too. So we'll have Maggie and all IT will be up here on the 3rd floor by the kitchen. So you can find either one of those there. All of those services for graphic designers, for photographer, is all online. Where can we find that at, Maggie?
We'll put it on the Ambassador Resource Center, but you can email marketing@bhhsam.com.
So email marketing@something.com. BHHS.com. I should remember that, for God's sakes. Holy shit. That's scary. You guys should be scared. I probably wouldn't come to me if you had problems. Probably go to Scott or Heather or Brian. They're much smarter than me anyway. But everybody has availability to do the photos now, to do the graphic designers now. That's all available to all of you. So those are additional services that we've added that we didn't have before that we hope is useful to everybody else in the marketplace. Guys, what else do we have going on out there? Are we seeing activity? Is activity okay? Listings are increasing tremendously. If anyone has any questions on that State of the Real Estate Economy letter that we'll get out this morning, please shoot it back to me. If there's things that glare to you that we need to tweak, tell us. We're happy to look at that. We just put this together yesterday, but we do want you to use that as a vehicle to help educate buyers and sellers in the marketplace what's going on. Yes, sir.
Vince, I think it's verbiage in terms of, instead of saying a correction, say it's more of a normal market.
And by the way, in our letter, that is, I think we bolded that word. We talked about that. We bolded the word. So Dave said, instead of saying it's correction, that it's a normal market. And that's really how we view this. We do not believe what's been going on the last 5, 6, 7 years as a normal market. And in this letter, we're basically talking that it's a return to a normal, stable market as we continue to move forward. And I really think that probably is the appropriate word, is this is becoming the new normal as we move forward in the marketplace. But we are seeing an increase of listings. So we're getting back to where we are. And I think, it's going to be reasonable to expect offer prices to come in below list price. Again, that's normal, guys.
Going back to marketing sources.
Going back to marketing sources? Services, yes.
Some of the features that I really appreciated that was a quick hit, if I needed it, was the calendar card that marketing used to offer, and we would pay for that. But I didn't know if that's something that might be coming over from CVS.
Give that to Maggie. I have no clue. It says right there, yes.
So you'll get a few emails from me today. So one of them's that. So we've got the calendar card order ready to go. It's $25 for a template plus the cost of your your mailing for whatever sphere or group you want to send it to. So for the BHHS agents, if you have your sphere or your farm list in Excel, we can upload that to the print vendor and send it out seamlessly for you. So we'll send that out today, along with what these services are, along with where to find IT. So.
And maybe it wouldn't hurt for us probably before now and the end of the year to even have a class on kind of what the graphic design is, just to give a better overview of what they do, what they can do, and we'll get them in here to show you some creative things. They want to be creative, which is cool, which can take pressure off you. The last thing is anybody, we've got a lot of BHHS agents and the new CBS Home agents coming over asking questions that you've still not set up your website. And so we're trying to come up with a format where for a certain price you can get a website set up that's kind of customized to you. Did you want to talk about that? I can't. Okay. You looked like you wanted to stand up again. Get your steps in. I put my Fitbit back on, so I'm going to get these 12,000 steps in whether it kills me every day or not.
So we're going to
I should walk back and forth as I'm talking.
Just shake your arm. It's easier.
That makes a lot of other things shake, though.
All right.
That's not a very pretty sight.
So we are going to do like a standard template, and then we're going to do a more robust template where you can add multiple pages, change the style guide, the CSS, and some things like that. So that more robust template is coming, though. We're working with the website vendor on that. And then the basic template I think we can do here today or next week probably.
Guys, and we want every one of you, whether you just have the static page or have your picture there, because if someone's calling or someone's going on that site and they're looking up and there's no picture there, you're not helping yourself, okay? Get one of Brian's pictures from 30 years ago. He didn't look too bad back then if you don't have a picture you like of yourself.
Here's this one.
Maggie, remind me, if you had a kind of a custom website at CBS Homes, does that come over, or do we start from scratch?
So it's a totally new website vendor, so it is kind of a start from scratch. Now, if you came over, we do have a lot of that code saved, so that would be our starting point.
Brian's laughing. So Terry Stork did this. I think you said 25 years ago or something like that? Okay.
Ready? Here we go.
It's a great piece for Christmas.
Those are totally glamour shots.
And then you said Ralph would throw mustaches on there and say, a very hairy Terry. Terry, with friends like Ralph, I don't think you need enemies. Is Terry here? Okay. Guys, anything else going on in the marketplace? Finish strong, get out there, face-to-face conversations, phone calls, handwritten notes, build and nurture relationships. The balance of this month. Yes?
Yeah, I'll go after you.
Go ahead.
I got some. Before you leave, around
I don't think I... All right, perfect. The Good Guy Award. We have to. Who has that?
Yes,
And who's
Connie. Connie?
Connie, are you here?
Yes.
We've got the award. We're going to give it to you for 13 seconds. Okay. Brooke is bossing me around. Or Brock, whoever she is.
Yes.
Oh. Nebraska made the Final Four for the 4th year in a row, right? Volleyball?
Well, this award goes to someone whose cheerful demeanor and bright smile lights up your day every time you see him, and he builds caring, giving relationships with everyone, coworkers, clients, everyone he meets. And this goes to Matt Beers.
Is Matt here? Brooke, I think we got to do a better job of scrubbing who these things are going to.
He just beat me in ping pong too, so he's a good guy.
I mean, Connie, the standard can be a little higher next time, okay? Congratulations, Matt. Do you want to give a speech?
Speech. No, I'm sorry, I don't have anything prepared. And so.
It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be prepared. All right, Brooke.
Yes. Okay, so diaper drive this year. So normally our company goes down to the Open Door Mission and helps with Project Santa and their So we go to their huge garage, like their warehouse, help gift bags and for kids around the area. But this year we are going to do the diaper drive. So what happens? We go down there with like 120 people, which is awesome that everybody wants to get involved. But it's a huge warehouse, but not for our huge groups. So this year they said that they could use our help more in the diaper drive. So basically if you want to bring diapers, we'll be taking a load down on Friday. So just bring them by and drop them off at my office.
And I don't want to see only pregnant women on this drive, okay?
Yes. And then on the 27th, December 27th at 10 a.m., so 10 to noon, we'll be unloading the trucks from all, like Channel 94.1 does a diaper drive, all the small diaper drives around the town. We'll be taking off the trucks into the warehouse, and then followed by pizza and beer with all of us.
I don't know if we'll have beer at noon, but
Sorry, not pizza and beer. Okay.
But we might have beer. Who knows? It's between Christmas and New Year's.
1 o'clock then. So.
But we will have all right. So we might have beer.
So would love to come. You guys, if they're able to listen to directions and they won't get cold, bring them with. This is an awesome opportunity for them to help others and do something as a group. So let me know if you're interested. Just we do need to give Open Door a number. I said around 100, 150, which is totally doable. So just let me know if you guys are interested.
So just email you or stop by your office. Guys, have a great month. Yes. Forget it, Brian. We're not done. I'm trying to get out of here.
Free hugs.
Oh, we got a video. No one can leave. None of you people out there leave. We got one last video. I forgot. We're ending the year with a video.
Yes.
Brian first. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to cough at the same time that I'm talking. You guys could hear me out there, right? Even when I cover this up.
Some of you may not be aware, but we do have a Sarpy County office. We're located Highway 370 at Shadow Lake Town Center. You know where Shadow Lake Town Center is. We're right there. You are all welcome anytime to come in and use that facility, meet with your clients, conference rooms, computers, printers.
How many Stella machines are down there?
How many?
Stella machines? Well, we might have to make that a real office and put one down there. Yes. Do they drink beer in Sarpy County? Huh? I hear. Okay. All right. I don't want anyone to feel like you're.
What about the 63rd Street office?
The Exarban office. So Scott and I met yesterday about that. We will eventually close down the Exarban office because we're going to open up the Regency office, which we have a picture of that up somewhere. So we're going to work through those over the next couple months. But the Exarban office and the Giles Road office will eventually go down. We're going to open up a Regency office. We are going to be opening up a second Sarpy County office that will have a conference rooms and so forth on 118th and 370. Is that right? 108th. So, one last video. Do not leave. Lights. Yes.
Transaction coordinators, you guys, they are going to be available after sales meeting for an hour. So if you guys have any questions,
stay here.
They are here to help.
Katie, can you hit that?
Sure.
Go, Brian. What do you got?
Sunshine Kids. Just an update on 2 of our kids. Peyton's back in school. She's doing really good. But Charlie is back in the NICU, and she's not doing so great. She's kind of struggling there. So she was supposed to be in there for 2 days, and now it's turned into 2.5 weeks, and she's like, we don't know when she's going to get out. So my thought would be if we could do another card thing.
Yeah.
Sign some cards, give that to her. I'll tag her page to the Berkshire agents.
Perfect.
Share it.
So Ryan said one of our Sunshine Kids, those of you out there who can't hear, is not doing well. Has been back in the hospital. Supposed to go in for 2 days. Been there for 2.5 weeks. We're going to get a big card that we'd like to pass around, have people write a note on, and then we'll get that down to her. Yeah. Thank you. Finish video. Then we're done for the year, guys.
I don't mind where you come from, as long as you come to me. But I don't like illusions, I can't see them clearly. I don't care, no, I wouldn't dare to fix the twist in you. You've shown me eventually what you'll do. same. And I'll take you for who you are. If you take me for everything, do it all over again. It's all the same. Hours slide and days go by till you decide to come. However long you stay is all that I am. I don't mind, I don't care, as long as you're here. Go ahead, tell me you'll leave again. You'll just come back running, holding your scarred hand. It's all the same. And I'll take you for who you are. If you take me for everything, do it all over again. It's always the same. Heart in hand, it's all the same. And I'll take you for who you are. If you take me for everything, do it all over again. It's all the same.
All right, guys, we are family. Everyone stands up. Everyone stands up. 3 or 4 free hugs. Turn around, get some hugs, people. Brian, I want one first from you. Brian, yes, yes, yes.